everybody. Welcome to Straight Up Talk Boston. It is 7 o'clock, and we got a great show for you tonight. Stay tuned. We'll give you all the details. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Straight Up Talk Boston. We are happy to be here tonight. It's 7 o'clock. We're here every Monday night at 7 o'clock. Try to be sharp when we get here, and we got some great things coming your way tonight. Joey is taking a little sabbatical for the week, but we do have Johnny Peasy here. We also have Paul D'Angelo, and we have his brother Chris Murphy. Look at these guys right here. What a trio right there, huh? Say hello, everybody.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Paulie.
Hello.
Hello. Oh, Paulie, go ahead. You wanted to.
Well, I am very honored to introduce my brother Chris, and here's a little about my brother Chris. Now, he's a very talented guy. He started out as a drummer, had an amazing band where he was the vocalist and the drummer called The Dudes, and they were incredible band. And then he started playing guitar predominantly, and now he's the leader of another band called Fender Bender. He's also a singer. He's a singer-songwriter because he's written 3 incredible songs that are on iTunes. We have a lot of amazing musician friends and some of the best musicians in the country playing on these songs. He also is a sea captain, and he was a child prodigy, 8-9 years old. He was running boats, and now he's a captain. He's an official captain, got a captain's license. He's taken boats up and down the East Coast. He's fished for marlin in Costa Rica. He's a giant bluefin tuna and everything, and very fascinating. In Gloucester, they all know him. He's got a reputation. He brings that boat in like nobody else. And he also is he's a property manager for my family. He's responsible. I'd say he was responsible for my family being financially secure because he's done some amazing things for my family and has developed a bunch of townhouses and stuff. And I'm very proud to have him here. I know my sister Shauna is the Connie Corleone of the family. Jay is definitely Fredo. Chris thinks he's Michael.
He's Sonny.
I can do things, Michael. I can do things.
I'm smart. But and Chris is he's Michael with Sonny's temper. So I guess who am I? I guess I'm Tom. I'm the outside. I'm the
the attorney. Absolutely, right?
Yeah. But very proud to have him here, and he's got some great story and a great sense of humor, by the way.
I wonder where he got that from.
No, my whole family was like my brother Jay, my father. The funniest times I ever spent were around the kitchen table when my dad was alive, my Uncle Vito. Everybody had a sense of, not my mother so much. She's Sicilian, you know. But a great sense of everybody. If I had $1 for everybody who came up, your brother Chris is funnier than you are. I said, I get paid. So very proud to have you here, Chris.
Well, thank you, Paul. It's a beautiful introduction. And it's an honor to be here with these fine gentlemen. Billy, thank you for having me. Johnny,
great
guys are great guys. The show's great. I've been following it. And all the wonderful people you've had on here. It's an honor to be one of them. So thank you.
Well, I like what your brother just said, right? But, of course, that's from your brother. Right, he's not going to say anything negative.
Oh yes, he would.
You think he would? Would he really?
I've heard it.
Right,
no,
good.
He's pretty good like
that.
No,
that's good. He said some great things. So my first question to you, Chris. Now, a lot of my questions will be pertaining to your music career, and I think Billy, because I didn't really know that much about your fishing and your ship.
Captain's license.
Captains and all that stuff. So
My
I didn't
time.
I didn't know any of that stuff there. So this is quite a surprise to me, you know. So that's great, and I think Billy will be probably asking. So when coming to music, obviously you're a late bloomer in the music writing and performing. Would you say?
I wrote stuff actually back in high school. When I actually wrote a song. My friend who got married was in my band. Wrote his first song, his wedding song back in the day. So I had written songs. I only recorded once with our old band. We went into a studio in Stoneham, and we had practiced so much as a group we rented a room down by AL Prime. There used to be a florist there, and we stayed upstairs for 6 months and played 4 nights a week, practicing. Till we had like 50 songs down.
Wow.
And then we went to this recording studio back then to make a cassette to get jobs, and we went in and we hit everything like first take, and so we were in and out of there in no time. But that's the only recording of us ever, and it's gone. I don't even know where it is. Somewhere maybe in my house there's something, but I don't have anything. So I wanted to, having Lou here and our friend, the band Fender Bender that Paul talked about, which is Paul's part. He does singing and plays harmonica with us, and we have Paul Shaba and Lou Spagnolia and in the band. Steve Baker for the recording. And the Fender Bender, we have Mike Donano and Andy Callahan, who when I was a kid used to look up to them. We'd go to the house and watch them play, and we'd be off on the side, So, after watching that, I'd really like to have something just, that we, you have someday to, have on the loop at McDonald's when they're going through the wake line or something,
Right.
So, but, so I'm like, I really like to do this. So I just came up with a quick blues song, the first one, and we did it, and Paul played harmonica, and we had Lou and Steve from Fortune play on it, and our friend Paul.
I've got a question. When you write a song, and I suppose everybody's different, do you write the music first or the lyrics first?
The last couple ones have been lyric driven, mostly. Like
then you come with a
I
tune
should
that
be
fits
drinking
it?
with you. I just said that phrase, and then just what comes after that. I should be drinking with you. It's one of the things I like to do. So that was like that. The last one we did, which I liked, the song "Goodbye Tennessee" we did. I was going in the shower and just started saying, I don't know where it came up. I think I was watching some show, and I walked in singing this "Goodbye Tennessee." And while I'm in the shower, I'm writing words. So then I come out and I'm like, oh, so let me write down the chords and make this thing work. So those ones have come really
I said to him,
natural.
why
fast.
Tennessee? He said it sounded right.
Would you classify yourself as rock, country, western?
This is country-ish. I like my favorite stuff. I probably think is. I like mellow stuff. I love like the '70s stuff. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, if you listen to my playlist, we'll go from Stevie Ray Vaughan to Anne Murray. It just goes all over the place.
Right,
But
right.
I always love those sappy songs. I love probably some of my favorite ones. I like those '70s gold. Like you used to get that 8-track of '70s gold and things. I
He
like
was in a
stuff
band
like
in
that.
high school. I remember going to the shows. I'd go to the shows, and they're doing a show at the
St. Joe's
St.
Church?
Joe's Church, and they did Big Balls by AC/DC, and the priest came out, stop the show, stop the show.
And then
He's got the biggest balls of them all.
Then we ended it by playing My Generation. We smashed all our equipment.
You're kidding.
And yeah, when we had played there for about 4 years, a woman I know was having bake sales. And I go, what do you make at a bake sale? She goes, oh, we make like $120. I go, I can make you a lot of money. Let my band play. So we were a fixture at this right down the street here in Wakefield. And yeah, the last show, we ended up big balls. And you can see right then the priest was not happy. And then we just smashed everything. And we bought all this cheap equipment so we could smash it. And that ended that.
Hysterical.
I have another question for you. You, in that band, and in those bands in those days, you were a drummer who was the lead vocalist. There aren't that many drummers who Phil Collins did it with Levon Helm, right?
Ringo occasionally.
Ringo sometimes. Sometimes I like the Ringo songs, but that's not an easy thing to do.
No, well, yeah. I mean, part of me sometimes wishes I wasn't. I think I'd be more accomplished as a drummer because what it is drumming came real natural, and you're playing, and you're more worried about the words and screwing up.
Right.
So I could just play, and I felt comfortable once I learned. I could always play, pretty good, but you're always in your mind thinking of like songs. Although in music, if once you think, you screw up. You never
Right.
want to think. You just want to keep playing because all of a sudden
Look
you're
at
like,
Billy
what am I
laughing,
going to do
yeah.
next? It's like, oh boy,
Yeah.
I'm going to screw up.
What artists have inspired you?
Well, as you know, and we have a love for the Beatles.
Yeah.
My first albums that I ever had were the Blue Album, the Beatles, that
Yeah,
greatest
sure,
hits.
sure.
The Royal Scam, because my brother Jay and Paul, I was lucky to be around. My brothers loved music too. So Paul, I would always hear Allman Brothers. I would hear Creedence, all these things that I was like, this is, great
Did you like
music.
Grand Funk Railroad?
Grand Funk
I
Railroad?
loved.
yeah.
I saw them twice, at the Garden, Grand Funk
Oh,
Railroad.
really?
Yeah.
When it was Blood Rock the opening act?
I was there.
DOA, remember
DOA,
that?
oh
the
my-
most morbid song
Were you
ever.
there? Were you there?
No, all my
I-
friends went. I wished I could
Listen
have
to
gone
this. I'll never forget this. Here's what they did. They had red lights that spin around like this, at every
there.
exit.
Like it was an accident.
Yeah. The
scene.
lights go down, right? It's like pitch black, and all of a sudden you see the woo, woo, woo.
Yeah.
Laying here, looking out the ceiling, someone lays a sheet across my face.
Oh, yeah, that was the most
I remember. Oh,
Yeah.
Blood Rock. I was there
Were the
for
rest
that.
of their songs like that?
They didn't play too many songs. They only
not,
played,
yeah.
but I love those three guys in Grand Funk.
Well, Mark Farner was at the Cabot Street Theater not too long ago.
Was
I
he
saw
really?
him,
Oh,
yeah.
I mean, now there's another group went bankrupt, hate each other.
Yeah. Badfinger was like that.
Yeah,
had
bad.
terrible
Well, and Creedence
thing.
Clearwater Revival
Couldn't even play his own music.
couldn't even play his own
Were the
music.
rest of their songs
Yeah.
like that?
But there's nothing. Just that music from the '60s and '70s.
Yeah.
It was a magical time. There was
And,
something
when
about it.
you mentioned the Beatles. Now, when the Beatles first started, and it's like this with a lot of groups, Chris. So I'm just wondering, they were very easy, like 2-chord, 3-chord songs. Buddy Holly, same thing, 2, 3-chord songs. Same with the Beatles. They were like, and the Beatles, their big thing was singing about love. Like Love Me Do, P.S. I Love You, and I Love You, and
You
I
better
love
run
her.
for your life if you can, little girl.
Yeah.
Something, not
Yeah.
so much love.
Well, they would have never got away with that today with the Beatles.
Well, the baby album, they had the baby head album.
Oh,
Didn't go
yeah,
well.
yeah.
But it was easy, those songs. But in between all that, and I'm not. You watch these guys like Paul Shaba, who's Berkeley, and the guys in Ford.
Yeah.
This definitely, Paul and I were talking about levels of players. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
And I'm not one of those. I'm a very simple guy and stuff. But it's surprising, even though they're like simple songs, they're little diminished chords, different types of
Right.
chords that really make it. Even though you think you listen to something simple. I was listening to a Steely Dan song yesterday, Boston Rag, and it seems like it was one chord. And then I'd like to try, and I look on the thing to see what, and it's like, it's all these chords. I'm like, okay, maybe you can't do that, but yeah, it's amazing the little things that they would do, and then like the harmonies or just change, like a change in it. That was, in fact, I read a thing we were talking about Paul McCartney and the bass, and the guy's going, a lot of the stuff he does, technically it's not right, but that's what it is, and that to me, that's the great thing about music. When I talk about people and people like us, we're not that good. Music you can just play. You don't have to play the same chords they do. If you can play a cheap version of it, that's great.
Exactly.
I think
Make it your own. Yeah, you can
I'm,
make it
I'm
your
more
own.
like that would be my thing. I
Right.
could sit around a campfire and I could play a lot of music
Yeah.
and different things. Won't be exact chords, but it's enough that when people are hanging around drinking,
You have a good
you're gonna
time.
get right through it.
Absolutely.
So that's the thing about the music. You can do other versions, and it's never a wrong version if you make it your
Right.
version.
When the Beatles first auditioned for George Martin, what's the first thing he said? They're not that good.
Yeah.
They were not. Did you know that, Paul? First thing he said was they weren't very good at all. But he was an accomplished. He studied at the conservatory, George Martin, and that's why I always say George Martin was, as far as I'm concerned, was really what made the Beatles.
Yeah, he was very as important as every one of them. too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But could you? I mean, when you think about that, the group, but they grew. They grew and they grew, and they had a great team behind them.
They worked so hard too. Is one of the things that they just 7 days a week, and they played 7 days a week, and they would do maybe
8 days
3
a week,
shows.
too.
Yeah, and they did. Germany. What are they doing? 3-4 shows in a day. And
That's right.
I always think about that too. Like with I would love Skinhead, the Army, those things. Those are things like I look at now that you like. Back then, those guys would get in a van, and it was just them, and they would go cross country, and they would play. And on their days off, they would go see someone that they wanted to see, like a blues guy or something, and sit with him and jam. And you'll never. I don't think you ever get that anymore because you never. People. I don't know if they're going to do that. Get in a van and just drive around. Now with social media.
But anybody who's any good, whether it's an athlete, a comedian, a musician, you have to commit to it.
Exactly.
You have to have a passion for it, so you don't look at a clock. You're not
Yeah.
counting the time. I help out a lot of comedians who are starting out, and every single one of them said, "I didn't know how hard you work at this." I go, "Well, how good do you want to be?
Well,
do
because
you want
they-
to be really good, or do
They
you wanna
see you
be,
up on stage, Paul, and you make it look so easy.
Yeah,
See,
if you
that's the
want.
thing about comedy is, comedians make it look so easy, and they're out there going, "I could do that.
Yeah.
I could do it." Now, did you know a couple of quick little trivia things? Who played the drums on back in the USSR? Because you were a drummer.
That's a good question. Was it Paul?
Paul McCartney. Who played the lead guitar in Taxman?
That was Paul also, wasn't it?
Down. Paul McCartney. Paul was a phenomenal drummer.
Yeah.
He
Band
played-
on the Run. I think he played the drums in Band on the
Yeah,
Run.
yeah, because half the group quit on him.
Yeah.
You know that,
they
right?
Were
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
I was at a Ernie Box for an event, and with Natalie Jolly was there and everything, and I think Cheap Trick was playing, I believe, and I met Denny Lane. And I was so excited. I'm
Oh,
like,
I
excuse
love
me,
Denny
sir, I'd
Lane.
love to get a picture of you. Can I?
Yeah.
Come on. And I got a selfie, and I ran back to my friends. Look at I looked at it. It was just a picture of me.
Ah,
I was like,
Johnny,
oh, I
you
can't
met- you
believe
met
it.
him a few-
yeah,
few
he was
times,
at the
didn't you?
Kowloon one night.
Yeah, I couldn't
And I went
believe
up there, and of course, so they said to me, come on, we're going out to eat. We want you to come out with Denny Lane." And I said, "Oh, I got to get. Well, I got to get up tomorrow." I didn't, and to this day, I kick myself because I would have loved to have sat
He
there.
was great.
He was, yeah, I
Great
mean,
guy. That band was phenomenal, and I try to remember the young kid that he.
Oh,
was,
Jimmy McCullough.
McCullough, yeah.
Yeah,
he was phenomenal.
He was
and
he was a
died young,
prodigy.
too.
He was a prodigy.
Yeah, that
he
whole
was a
band
prodigy,
was
yeah,
just
yeah.
so good and so tight. And
Yeah, Denny Sewell was a great drummer.
yeah.
You know?
Well, it's funny you talk about like, saying Paul McCartney. I was listening like the other day, come back and you might even know it. So I'm listening to Eleanor Rigby, and you realize there's no other Beatle in it. It's
That's
just
right.
him. And even the backups, that's not even like John, the least you can do. No. And so there's a few songs that are
Well,
really
Yesterday,
where
yeah.
it's just, him and, it's just no other Beatles. But
I still
he's
find to
amazing.
this day, imagine 4 guys from one town, Liverpool, and look what they become. That
Yeah.
to me,
And
still to
that's-
this day,
That's
is,
magic too. You
That-
need to have that
exactly.
chemistry and just the timing of the world. So we were talking earlier about John F. Kennedy. After the death of Kennedy, the world needed something to cheer him up or
Great
do
point.
something.
You know what I was thinking the other day, Chris, that you just mentioned that just now. So the death of JFK, the assassination, the Beatles came along, and what ended the Beatles? And, of the thought, an assassination of John Lennon.
Yeah.
So when you think about it for a second, an assassination brought them really here, and and an assassination ended any thoughts of them ever getting together. I don't think anybody's ever really made that connect. I mean, I don't know. I could be wrong, but now, so you are self-taught.
Yes, unfortunately, yeah. I'm
don't
not
say
I'm not
self-taught.
good at lessons. Well, so originally I took drum lessons. I actually took a guitar lesson, and then the guy, I was young, and he wanted me to play something, and I was all mad. Like, I just started. How can I play? And my brother Jay had drums in the basement, and I could just play drums naturally.
Right.
So I said, I'm going to go play drums now. So I started, my neighbor, Mike Donato, was taking lessons from a gentleman in Stoneham. I started taking lessons from him also. His name is Robert Carlton, and a wonderful man. And he was probably about 84 years old. He was as big as one of my fingers. Gentleman, I have 20 minutes of practice with him, and then 10 minutes of being in the basement. He was really good friends with the Zildjian family and Wurlitzer, and his whole basement was filled with equipment.
Wow.
And so every time my mother would pick me up, I'd have something that he just, don't worry, you don't have to pay me now, just take it. I'm like, what are you doing? You got a drum set. What are you bringing? Oh, he said I don't have to pay for it. But unfortunately, the gentleman, one of his students came in, drugged, whatever, and killed him.
What?
Took one of the spurs that hold the bass drum in and stabbed him. You could have held this guy down with a.
We'll
a
be back in
finger.
a moment from the. No, we don't break for commercial.
And so then I stopped
I didn't
taking.
even know that.
Wow.
I stopped taking drum lessons after that.
That'll
Yeah,
put an end to
there
things.
you go. Right?
And so that was that, and then started playing with my friend Michael Fazio, which when you talk about going back, so we were very blessed. Growing up, our family had a drive-in theater in Medford, the Meadow Glen Drive-In.
Sure, yeah.
And my uncle Vito, one of the great guys, saxophone player, had little bands at his on his own. Lived with his parents in Wakefield, And so what he did is he built this little apartment in the drive-in theater, and one screen looked at one big picture window looked at one screen, one
Right.
window, and one room had a player piano and a snare drum, a reel-to-reel tape
Cut
thing.
it out.
So every day we would go down and we would help pick up speakers and do stuff and play. My uncle would bring us down. It was very unique. There was a playground there. It had a swimming pool that only we were allowed to go into. Which, like, think about who would have a swimming pool at a drive-in there. And, Ferris wheel. So we go down during the day, and Paul can attest to this. He was there helping out, too. And we could play pinballs. The doors were open. You just play things, getting popcorn. And then Mike and I, we would go into this room with this player piano, and, we just start putting the rolls in. And it
Oh,
would be
my
like,
God.
those were the days, my friend.
Yeah.
The Southern Nights, Let It Be, all these songs. We would just spend hours in this thing, and so we got immersed in music and loving it. And Mike, my best friend, we started playing music together as kids. We were like 12 years old. We started having bands in 7th grade. We had our first band, Ledgewood, and we played and just had different variations of bands all through there. So we were very lucky. Like, we brought up our grandmother, Elsie, who played piano for silent movies back in the day, and taught piano, and then worked at the Kernwood in Malden, then the Kernwood in Linfield, and God bless her, she'd be 80 years old, but she would have on like a Elton John, glitter, gold. She loved gold, and she'd have the outfit and all the
Everything in her
makeup.
apartment was spray painted gold or silver.
Yeah, and
it was like
She would like my jacket.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and she would play. So we'd go down there and watch her, and so we were surrounded by music. My father would get drunk and blast the stereo. We'd hang out with him. He loved Louis Prima. He used to fly to
Oh,
New
Louis
York
Prima,
with
my
my
God.
Uncle Ronnie on these flights and go out and see Louis Prima and fly back home with the stewardesses and the captains. And
So what's your passion? Is it being a captain of a boat, or is it being on stage doing the music? What's your passion?
Well, I mean, I love music because music's 24 hours. You're in your car,
Right.
you listen to music. It's frustrating. Like Paul and I were both talking about, like, we're never going to be, this level. But it's like, it's okay. I accepted what I am.
Right.
And I stay within my boundaries. My dad, I was very lucky when I was younger. I was attached to my dad's hip. So we would go.
You were the younger. You're the youngest, right?
boy.
Let
Sean
me
is-
take that back one step. So I'm a freshman in college, when a senior in high school, freshman in college when my father gets his first boat, kept up at Cape Am Marina. Paul, you're going to come down with me every weekend. I go, Dad, I'm in college. I go down to Cape every weekend. I'm on a softball team. I can't be. He recruits Chris, who was 8, 9 years old.
we got our first boat in 1974, so it was 8.
Yeah.
I was 8 years old,
Yeah.
and I would go with my dad. Unfortunately, I used to get seasick all the time.
Wow.
Which, when we go tuna fishing, as soon as we get somewhere, I would just throw up all day. And my father never understood. He'd be sitting there eating a raw squid sandwich with a scotch, going, "What's wrong with you?" And I'm like, "Well, I think something came out of my body. I've been throwing up for 12 hours." I go, "Can we go home? We haven't seen a fish all day." Oh, I feel bad for you. We're going to go. 3 miles away, one boat starts. "Oh, I think that guy hooked up. We can't go now." I go, "What do you mean? You promised me." I was so close to getting home. But I love boats. I have stacks. You talked about the JFK books. I have like thousands of boat magazines. So I used to bet my father I could see a boat 10 miles away, tell him what it was. And I love boats. And I was very, like I said, when I was young, at age 8 or so, my dad would take me at the beginning of the year, teach me how to run the boat, dock it. Tell me it's your boat too. So ever since then, we did the boat we have now. We've had for 40 years now. We bought in 1987, and my dad at that point, he never drove any. That was like, he just was a guest.
Yeah,
And,
but my brother Chris has kept that boat. It looks like brand new boat. He's put hundreds of thousands of
amazing.
dollars into
Wow.
it. It's
Yeah,
magnificent.
but so we've had amazing memories on that boat, and like Paul was saying, I've been lucky enough to go up and down the coast of Florida. We took our boat, we bought it in Florida, brought it home.
When you learn to drive a boat at 8, 9 years old, it's like, you ever see a kid skiing who's a little kid coming down the mountain? He's never thinking, "Oh, I'm going to break my leg. I'll be in a
Right,
cab." No, because you're fearless.
Fearless.
Now,
Well,
when you're
no,
8,
yeah.
9 years old, you don't know what a bow rail costs. You
Oh
don't know,
no,
like,
but
a thing,
that in Gloucester, there's a cut bridge that is notoriously the current through there, and it would scare the hell out of me. I still scary because now I'm worried I'm going to be on TV and I'm going to make a mistake there and get laughed at by someone in China because I went through there after 50 something years of doing good with boats, But you know, I've been blessed, but I love boats. But and a lot of it too is because I got to spend so much time with my dad. I
Yeah.
mean,
those are
did-
memories. Those are priceless.
Yeah, we
Priceless.
had great, you know, just amazing times. I went out. I caught my first tuna. You know, up there was 1,055 pounds. The first tuna I was in the chair for. And
Oh, my God.
I have my one of my best friend Anthony, who recently passed away.
On the boat?
Yeah, no, he
Okay.
yeah, but he built this custom boat, and he was a wonderful guy. I met him real early in my life, and he took me to Panama twice. We fished in the middle of the jungle place. If you ever want to fish one trip in your life, you go to this place called Tropic Star Lodge. It's in the rainforest, and there's nothing but you catch blue
You've been
marlin.
down there?
Yeah, we fished there. We got you fly into Panama City. We sat at the canal watching the boats go through until you fly in a little plane, and you get there, and then you're brought to a cabin, and then at the time there's only like 40 something people there at a time, and there are all these boats. So you go out every morning, you get bait. They bring you breakfast. They bring you your lunch, and back then they didn't have air conditioning on the boats. It's hot. You're right in Panama, the equator, and it's just crazy. But you're catching blue marlin, black marlin, tuna, and it's just magical. And one year, first time I went with him down there was a kid had a guitar. I'm like, hey, can I borrow your guitar? He wouldn't let me do it. So I told him, if I ever go back there, I'm buying. So I ended up buying a guitar, and I brought it down there. And then every night I would go into the bar, and we start playing down there. And the woman, the second night we were there, there's a big home on the hill. And he owned, the guy had Papa Palaz rum. And he goes, I'm going to have a tasting party. Would you like to play? I go, great. So I get up there, and now I'm nervous, and I'm drinking the rum. And it was this beautiful place looking over the mountains. And I'm like, I'm real nervous. But I got up, and I sat, and it was just great, like almost like a stage with all this river rock behind me. And I started playing, and then opened up with Your Song from Elton John. And all of a sudden, everybody in the room started singing with me. And I go, oh, this is going to be great. And the woman came up later. She goes, Jimmy Buffett fishes here. He's never played the Castle. You're the only one. I go,
Whoa!
I got that going for me.
There you go. There you
Yeah.
go. So I want
yeah.
to know. The last time I spoke with you, I think we were talking about how you used the boat as Sandra Bullock's dressing room for
Yes,
the
my brother.
movie The
Yes.
Proposal. Tell us the story about that.
Yes, Paul and a friend of mine has a production company that did a lot of anything on the water. Just about when they had the tax cuts for movies, they started making a lot of them here. So I got called to work on a proposal, and Paul and I would go out and we'd sit off the coast of Manchester the first day.
The director was on our boat. The director of the movie is on our boat with all the sound equipment.
Well, that was the second day.
Oh, that's the
Remember the
second,
first?
okay.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
first
oh,
day
that's
we
right,
were
yeah.
just sitting there, and they shot a scene which in the movie, if you watch the proposal, she falls off into the water, which they spend all day. Hollywood's just mental. It's like we're watching this, and they set up all day to get this shot, and then all of a sudden, okay, lunch, and everyone, 40 people, got to go back in. Now they come back out. The waves are different. The lighting's changed. Everything. We go there, and she's on our boat. She falls in. She comes in to warm up, and Paul's always like, "Hey, Sandra Bullock was naked on our boat."
You got to be naked to take off to change out of your
Yeah.
bathing suit, right? I don't have to give the
Yeah.
details.
And then the next day, they want us to be like the soundboard. So they have this Chris Craft that's a small boat, and I got this 46-foot boat. And they have us next to that boat, and all right, go. And
All
we're supposed
the
to
all
both
the sound
keep
equipment was
going,
on
you
this
know. And
boat.
we're like, I'm not a ski boat. I can't do what
Right.
you. But we're pounding the thing, and
We had to keep up with the other boat
Yeah.
because the wireless because the director was listening.
yeah,
on our
that
boat
was driving
to
me
make sure
nuts.
it's-
And then they were supposed to keep us for 3 days. We got in late. Oh, and then Ryan Reynolds is in that film. He comes up with another guy. Comes up, puts a scratch in my boat. Now I'm angry. I don't care who they are. Now he's scratching my boat. So now I'm pretty pissed at that. We go in. It's late at night, and I had given them this is the price, and they talked me down a little bit, but there was 3 days of work. Then they said, well, we don't need you, and we're done. I go, what do you mean? You told me 3 days, Well, that's it. So then I charged them for the scratch, made sure I made up for it and everything. But that was that was a lot of fun. We did that.
Larry David was on the boat, right?
Yeah, Larry in Clear History, that movie with Larry,
Yeah.
and Patty Ross was in that. Wonderful.
Yeah, sure.
And my friend called me. He goes, they're filming a scene on one of the scenes. They walk past the boat and they're sitting on a lobster boat. So they're like, Larry needs a place to sit. I go, $500. You can sit on the boat. So they used the boat for that. And then I did also, not on the boat, but I did work on the town. I spent 2 weeks on the town shooting a scene on a sailboat with Ben Affleck and the girl. And we were out there. It was rain one time. I think I was frozen. And it was just crazy. And then they end up having us come back and shoot other scenes later in the year. And then I go to watch the movie and none of it's in it.
Don't you
And
love
must have
that?
spent $500,000 shooting these things at least. And not one part that we did was in the movie.
Unbelievable.
There's so much stuff ends up on the cutting room floor. You wonder why in the world do you spend the time?
Yeah.
But they'll film stuff that's worth that. You probably put a 4-hour movie together, but 90% of the stuff ends up on the floor.
Can I interrupt this to tell
Sure,
a story
sure
about
you
you?
can.
Because
Sure you
I don't want to forget.
Sure
I don't
you
want to
can.
forget. I was looking at my notes for it was like 5-page routine that I did years ago about a hell flight because when I lived in L.A. I flew back and forth all the time. In fact, I was on flight 11 like 26 times, and the other one, but. This was a particular flight where a baby was crying all 6 hours of the flight, and then the baby messed his pants. And the thing, and basically the premise of the thing is that once you close that door of that airplane, it's like sealing Tupperware, because so you can't open a window, and air it out. So I said, it's different like in a car. I said, so I'm reading this thing. I'm with my friend Billy Pizzullo. We went to the Red Sox game, and he had 2 large sausage, peppers, and onion sandwiches.
Is that all?
And we're driving back, and we were just coming over the Zaga Bridge, and I'm driving, and Billy looks over at me, he goes, "I'm sorry." I said, "What?" He goes, "I'm sorry." And I go, "Why are you?" Oh! I had my head out the window like a cocker spaniel the whole time.
was so funny.
I forgot.
I
all
thought you were
about
going to throw up. I'll be honest with you.
I said,
That was
oh my
something.
God! All he did was say, "I'm sorry."
I'm sorry.
I didn't even know what. Do you remember that?
I do, like it was yesterday. Yeah.
Chris, as a performer musically, do you feel like you're getting better as you get older?
At this right now, I think I'm a little smarter, but not really better. And I was
Sometimes
talking
being,
about-
but sometimes being smarter is making you better.
Yes, like St. Paul and I, we had a good conversation on the way over. Like guitars, like sort of with me, it's sort of funny. Like you're like at this level, and then all of a sudden you find a little something you pick up, and it's like, oh, I just got, okay, now I'm starting again. Then you realize, okay, and then I'm flat again, and then so now the gentleman that we record with, Doug
Batchelder.
Batchelder.
Yeah.
Batchelder. He's a great guy. Plays every instrument. Great guy. And if you ever want to record something, you got a place, the Den up in Reading, and just one of the nicest guys and incredibly talented. He also gives lessons. So I was talking. I'm telling Paul, I go, I think I'd like to go and try to learn some other. Try to push myself outside of what I know. I need to learn something else.
I feel this way about music when I play my guitar and stuff like this. The more I know, the more I realize I don't know. If that makes sense. Like the
Yeah.
more you know.
Makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough. Yeah, it's tough. There's so much to learn, and it's amazing.
Well, first of all, you can never learn everything when
No.
it comes to music. It's something that it's on and on and on.
And we talk about it's frustrating because now you're working hard, you're trying to, and he's right about that. You get stuck on a level, and then one day, oh, geez, I just moved up a little bit. And then you go online and you see some 6-year-old Chinese kid playing Eruption from Van Halen, and his hands are this big, and he's doing
missing
this
an arm.
thing. Yeah.
He's still
Yeah.
better than
There was
you.
I saw a kid one time on 60 Minutes. He had he was blind, and he was autistic. And he just when he sat there, and I'm not making fun of anybody, but he just sat there like this, They could play a song, and he could duplicate
back.
it to the T.
Yeah.
It was the most incredible thing I've ever seen in my life. They play a song, and watch this. And there's a kid blind,
Yeah.
just didn't speak, and he played note for note for note. And you just say to yourself, that's another level. I
Yeah.
mean, as they say, we only use, 20% of our brain? And with Joey, he only uses
5.
5. Yeah. Joey, I can say that because you're not here.
He's listening. He's watching. He is
But,
watching.
No,
You know,
that's true. And that's another thing about music, I think, too, is you can. There's something about being naturally really good at it, like McCartney, Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Yeah.
Like you can't
Eric
teach
Clapton.
that. You can't teach it. And some people work so hard, just don't have the mechanics. Or we have a great neighbor, and he talks to me about music, and he's like, "Well, this is the 9th and the 4th," and by 2 minutes into talking, my head's spinning. I
yeah.
don't know. I go, I don't know anything. I just know if I put my finger here, I
Right.
don't know scales, but from playing a lot, I know what pattern. I'm not sure exactly. It's pentatonic. This is what I'm supposed to do. But like that can't be taught. You can sometimes work as hard, and you're never gonna, because there's something about a natural being able to hear like certain things. You know, when you're listening, like a lot of times I listen to music, I try to listen to other instruments in the song, like try to pick out just what
Right.
the bass is doing, what a thing, you know, because you hear a song so much. How do I keep listening? Like an example of my favorite songs was Melissa by the Allman Brothers, and I always wanted, it was my goal to be able to play that. If I
Right.
thought if I could play it, so I learned to play the chords to it. Then I'm like, oh, I could always play the drums to it. Now let me learn the lead guitar, and I figured that out. Now when I listen to it, I listen to the bass line on it because it's just an incredible bass line. So you just always discovering new things with the songs if you really break them down a lot. You
Now,
know,
Johnny, I think that's true of comedians too. Like some guys, you kind of almost know if a guy's going places like right from the beginning.
Right from the
You have a
beginning, yeah.
certain. You have a certain.
a feel. It's
Yeah.
a feel that you
Thing,
can't
it's
teach
something that-
feelings. You know,
Jimi Hendrix, right? Probably considered maybe the greatest guitarist, arguably. Or
Yeah.
okay, so here's a great story. So the Beatles released Sgt. Pepper's on a Friday. So Jimi Hendrix made it big in England before he made
Yeah.
it big here. A guy from the Kinks brought him to England, and they went crazy over him. So here they are. They went. They all went to see him. The Beatles went,
Yeah.
and Eric Clapton was there. You know the
Yep.
story. All of a sudden, what does he open up with? It was 20 years ago today, and you can see the look on the Beatles' face, like we just released this song on Friday, and he's opening up on Sunday. You know, it was 20 years ago today, Sgt. Pepper, and they could not believe it that he was doing that.
Yeah,
you know,
magical.
and then that same thing, his guitar went out of tune. He didn't even know how to tune his
Yeah, he
guitar.
said, "Eric Clapton, come up
where's
there."
Eric? And
Yeah.
Eric was hiding. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That's a great story.
If you love music, there's 2 great documentaries. One of them, it's a show called The Wrecking Crew. Have you seen that?
I love that.
Which is all the
I
background
love that.
musicians
the,
that
the,
played.
the girl that played the bass.
Carol
Carol Kay.
Yeah.
Carol Kay.
And played all the music
Oh
for the
my
Beach
God!
Boys.
Yeah.
the things.
When you go online and you put in what songs did the Wrecking Crew play on?
all the hits.
It's like
Yeah.
D.
Everything.
Martin, Gary Lewis and the Playboys, the Beach Boys,
Batman theme.
Yeah,
This,
yeah.
they did everything.
everything.
Everything, and it was just great, and no one knew about them, but they were
That
just
was-
amazing.
they were just
people.
yeah.
It's one of the best talking to watch, and there was
I
one,
love that. That's one of my
called
favorite documentaries.
Yeah, and Sound
Hal
City.
Blaine was the drummer. Hal Blaine.
Al Blaine. There was like 3
I-
drummers. There was
yeah.
a whole bunch. Glenn Campbell.
One of the-
amazing
one of-
ones.
Yeah,
And
I mean, you're right.
Yeah.
That is one of the best documentaries.
yeah.
If any of you people out there ever have a chance, go on YouTube and look up the Wrecking Crew, and they played in hundreds of songs, and like I'll give you an
Thousands,
example.
10,000
Pet
songs,
Sounds
yeah.
by the Beach Boys is still considered one of the
Monkees.
greatest. Yeah.
They would go Nancy Sinatra. They would just keep
Everything,
going.
yeah, these
They were
boots are made for
12-hour
walking.
days. They would just
Yeah.
go from studio to studio because they were afraid if they didn't play, someone would take their spot.
Exactly.
Well, during the 70s, Toto ended up taking
Toto
a lot
was-
of people's spots.
Yeah.
Because those guys, they hired people, were hired, A&M Records hired them for almost every
Yes.
single track.
Yeah.
They were amazing, those guys, right up until he passed away, the drummer passed away.
He was amazing.
So was it
And
Jeff Porcaro?
another good one is called the what's it called? I just had it on top of my head, but it was about a sound a recording studio in L.A. Sound City, it's called.
Sound City.
And it's about this gentleman buys this board and starts a recording studio. And the first people that record on it are Buckingham Nicks. And Mick Fleetwood's just lost Peter Green or somebody in the band, Bob Welch, I think. And so he's around, he wants to record, he hears about the place. The guy's playing him the songs, he goes, wow. who's this playing guitar? I'd love to have him. The guy goes, you can have him, but you're going to have to take his girlfriend. So this studio now in the 70s puts out Tom Petty's, all Kansas, all the biggest hits are all in this studio. It's amazing. And
Was it Eagles and Jackson Brown too?
no, I didn't see the Eagles, but it was like Tom Petty, Neil after the Gold Rush.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, amazing albums came out of it. And then the digital age came out. And one of the head engineers built a digital studio nearby, and the place started to go downhill. It's just about out, and Nirvana comes and does Nevermind there. So after that is now everybody wants to record there again, and it comes big again for a while, and then it finally is going out, and Dave Grohl buys the recording console and keeps it for himself, and then the second half of that whole documentary, he gets all the people that recorded there and wants them to record a song. Paul McCartney comes there and does a song with them, and all these other people, like, okay, you come in, we got to write the song here and just put it out quick. But it was a great documentary about that 70s, that
Love
whole
that. Yeah, love
something
that.
called Sound City.
Did you guys ever see when they did the benefit for George Harrison,
Yeah.
Prince playing
My
Why
Guitar.
Is that one of the greatest guitar solos at the end?
Phenomenal.
Phenomenal. I mean,
And I don't even think he practiced with him. He wanted to like surprise him
Yeah.
or something. And
that to me. Have you seen it, Paul?
Yeah.
That to me, I've watched it like over a few times, and it is just one of the most incredible guitar solos. And I'll never forget. They asked one time. They asked.
They axed you.
They asked.
They axed you.
Yeah, sorry, East Boston's coming out. East Boston's coming out. They asked. They said to Eric Clapton. So tell us about. They said to Eric Clapton, tell us about playing While My Guitar Gently Sleeps. He goes, no, why don't you ask Prince?
Yeah.
He plays it the best.
Yeah, that
Imagine
was
that.
amazing. You
That
can
was-
just see the smile on Danny's
The
face
kid-
when
the
he's
kid-
just when
and-
he going back, and
Is it-
he just
you're
has
right.
a big smile,
the
like
big smile,
laughing.
yeah, isn't
But I
it?
heard like Jeff Lynne and those guys were a little peeved that he was going on and on a little bit about it, but it turned out to be magic.
Oh
you
my
know?
God, that was just amazing. What that guy did, he was a tremendous guitar player.
he was-
I mean, he could play every instrument like it was nothing.
Yes,
But
yeah.
it probably had a lot to do with his childhood, you know.
And that's why we talk about me. I mean, like, there's nothing more special than music because everybody, certain song will remind you of a special time in your life, and there's so many types of music, and it affects everybody. Whether
That's
it be
what makes it so-
Sinatra,
yeah.
whether I hear songs now that I think of my mom and dad and my
Yeah.
uncle, songs that I remember Paul doing and stuff. So many friends that we lost. And these songs are like, so
There
special.
are places I remember,
Right.
I mean, songs like that bring you back.
Yeah, and that stuff's timeless. It's amazing that those songs that were written, so long ago are
That's-
just as good today.
You're absolutely
as
correct.
They, always been,
Yeah,
you
they're
can't
just as good
can't
today.
kill a good song.
Exactly.
That's different about comedy and music. It's like when you go to a concert and people are yelling "Free Bird," they want to hear.
Get
no
sick
one
of a
yells
joke.
Out, Johnny, yeah,
Yeah.
cars for kids.
Yeah, too funny.
Yeah, I know exactly.
Well, I got a traffic cone out there for you.
What?
Next time I invite you, I'm gonna have a traffic cone like you said the last time because you
Oh,
gotta talk up here, brother. I love you. Don't interrupt them.
I-
Okay,
I-
be Joey and interrupt.
Tell us when you experimented in college.
All right, Chris. Do you have an embarrassing moment on stage?
Every time I play.
Now, there's a good answer.
No, that's the one thing. Again, in music too. When you make a mistake, you just keep going. When you try to go back and start, don't ever stop. You just keep going. It's sort of like if you do something
Right.
bad with a joke.
Yeah.
Don't try to fix it. It's just go through it. But yeah, luckily I can't think of anything. It's been terrible.
Forget the lyrics.
Johnny, did you?
I
Did you
forget
have
all
an
the time.
embarrassing moment on stage?
I think we all have. You ever come off and go, I forgot the punchline.
Yeah.
I forgot the punchline. If you haven't done a bit for a while, and then you go, oh, I'm going to do this bit tonight,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden you go, I forgot to do the punchline. Yeah, it happens to us all. Now,
Yeah.
in
Well,
your-
I used to playing drums. I used to play, and if I forgot something, I just turn my head and I just pretend I was saying something.
Yeah.
And so no one ever knew.
Well, it's funny. The audience very, very seldom ever picks up on it.
No, and we
yeah.
talked with Paul, who plays guitar, who's from Berkeley and is brilliant.
Yeah, yeah.
And we talk about he's like agonized, and it's like no one knows except for us. And
Yeah.
he's like, I know some musicians out there gonna say, he played a wrong chord.
Yeah.
Might be one person, but 99% of the people never hear anything.
I've said that to Chris when we play with the band. I go, you know the difference between this and comedy? I said, I'm looking around and there's 150 people. There's a handful that are listening to every note. Usually another musician,
Right.
who's trying to listen to the nuances and everything like that. Whereas comedy, if there's 250 people and one guy's talking, you go, shut up, right? It's a different.
It's a whole different
thing.
vibe. Well, you know, when people like when you're playing, that's sometimes I think the difference between comedy and music. People could talk while you're playing. People a lot of times they'll be talking in conversation. They're still don't get
Kind
me
of
wrong.
background music.
Yeah, they're still listening to you and they're still enjoying you. But whereas in comedy, you've got to just focus on that comedian. And if you are talking, get the hell out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, one day in the old day when we used to play, one of the things about music you used to know is like the last set, don't let them sit down, because you needed to keep everyone going, because like it'd be late at night and everyone's drunk, and if you played like one of my friends, he always wanted to do like, let's do Down by the River. You can't play that now. Everyone's just gonna go back to their seat, and then it's gonna be, it's late, let's get out of here.
Right.
So we made sure, like, conscious to make sure. In fact, a funny story I'll tell you, like, so we used to play and we were pretty loud, and Paul lives right above me, so my music room is one of my spare bedrooms, and we're loud, and Paul, one time we're playing, Paul, well, you guys, Jesus Christ, my floor's shaking. We're like, we're so glad you showed up. We're gonna do Miss You, and these, I'll be right back. I'll get my harmonica. Next thing, Paul, that was it. That's all we hooked him. And the rest of the time, every time he get out of a comedy show, we saved all the songs at the end. Paul would come in at the end, do What I Like About You, Miss You. He'd jump in, and so that was the end of him complaining about us practicing.
That's another difference between comedy and music. Is I used to come back from a show, and I'd always try to catch the end of their show, and when he was a drummer, he's loading in the drums. They got a van, they got a pickup truck. Plus, like when we play, we got to practice once a week, and then you got to load all the equipment in, and then you do a sound check and everything. And I would come with like you got. I'd say, this is what I brought to my comedy show. It was like a little piece of paper with the new jokes I wanted to do that night and stuff like that. But there's a lot of work goes into it.
Paul and I, similar in a few different ways. I mean, he's one of the top comics in the country, and there's no question. But we always have something new whenever we perform, and I do.
I respect you for that. Yeah,
and I, I always try to do, even if it's one little thing, but I try to always do something a little bit new.
Yeah, even
Because-
music-wise, we do that. 'Cause I think even if you see a band all the time,
'Cause,
after a while, it is.
You gotta,
wanna
you
do
got to
something.
work at your craft, and I see too many comics today that just go up and do that same thing.
Well, I got a show at my third annual show at the Cut in Gloucester. There's a great
September 12th.
Great venue.
September 12th. Yeah.
Tickets
But
still available.
I have my set list from last year, and right after I finished that show, I noted what jokes I did and what I didn't,
Right.
and now I'll have a lot of the same friends in Gloucester that are going to go to that, and I'm putting together a different set list. Some of the stuff will
Absolutely.
be the same, but I work at it
Yeah.
like you work
And
at it.
do you notice too when you plan a show that sometimes from what's going on in the audience you vary?
yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
you almost like conversation here where I'm going to go on this thing. I wasn't planning on it, but
Yeah.
because this came up, so you got to always be
sometimes-
thinking on your feet and trying to
On my
change.
phone, every show that I do, I snapshot my set list. Okay. Now, for instance, when we do the show on October 11th, the Children's Hospital show, I go back to see. I've never done in the 15 years I've been doing it, I've never done the same show twice. No. But I keep a a snapshot. This is what I did last year.
But
because-
like music also, there are certain jokes that people want to hear.
Exactly. Well, that's
Same
how
way
you,
a song,
you mix
yeah.
them. That's
Sprinkle
how
in the hits.
You sprinkle, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And and you're amazing at doing that. Now, question: I know you both like the boss, Bruce Springsteen, right?
Yeah.
Paul.
Yeah. Oh,
Okay,
yeah, of
all
course.
But do you like the fact? I mean, do you ever try to get political in your music?
No, that's one thing I try. Yeah, no, I am.
It's so
I've
disappointing.
seen Springsteen. I don't know how many times. I got invited the last time. I said I don't want to hear him put down the United
Yeah.
States.
That's.
And I turned it
just
down.
don't
Now,
think
I
you
was
want-
never a big. I'll be honest. I was never a big I know he's great, and I'll be the first one to admit it. But I was never a big Springsteen fan. But when I hear people, they go to his concert, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
20
Yeah.
minutes, he's talking, okay, Trump this and Trump that.
But
And
I'll tell you what I
blah, blah,
don't like is when people, I'd see people saying, "Oh, this guy's talentless," and because they didn't like what talk about. No, he's great.
He's
just
brilliant. It's just a time
he's
and a
just
place.
dick when you're talking about that.
It's just like I mean, you can't take away the guy's talent.
No.
No,
I'm sorry.
not at
His
all.
songwriting ability, whatever. It's just like De Niro. De Niro ruined. I think he ruined his career as far as how
Oh, yeah.
his
Yeah.
trajectory. He kept going. I mean, what he did to himself is stupid.
when
I
I was-
mean,
when I
it
was
just puts division, and it's just not worth it. That's why we try to stay away from that crap here.
when I was a new comedian, there was a comedian, an established comedian who I thought was very funny, but then he became very, very political. But it wasn't making it funny. He was preaching. He was doing, and then he was mad because he wasn't getting. And I learned a valuable lesson. This is, if I make a point, a social commentary or something in my joke, don't do it at the expense of being funny. If you can make a point and make it funny, that's one thing. But if you're not, if you're just like preaching to people, you're
yeah.
pontificating. You're not really.
you're not
losing
getting paid
fact
to
of the,
do that, right?
You got to be entertaining.
Yeah.
And if you can do both, I think that's a challenge to me. Like if I have subtle things in my act, but I don't want to alienate part of the crowd.
Michael
so,
Jordan said it. Republicans buy sneakers too. So
Right.
there's a time and a place for everything.
Well,
I just think when you go to a music venue, you go to a whatever, you're trying to be entertained. You don't want to be talked down to. You want to go there and have fun, and there's
yeah.
a time to talk about it. And I respect both sides.
Yeah.
I'm passionate about politics and everything, and I want to listen to other people to try to understand. But I wouldn't want to. Make my show so now all of a sudden someone doesn't like.
If
It's
you're
about
being-
music.
If I hire you and I'm paying you to sing and I'm paying you to make somebody laugh, I don't want to hear that crap.
No.
You know what I mean? That's someone hires me. I mean, if I want to talk about politics, I'll talk about it at Dunkin' Donuts or on the phone or wherever. I'm not gonna waste my time destroying my crowd, and not only that, causing people to not hire me anymore.
Yeah.
your obligation is to entertain.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Like say either
Now,
way you're going to piss.
you know
off
what I
people.
found out very early on? That about maybe 20% of the population read the newspaper. And out of that 20%, maybe 5% look at politics. So when you get on stage and you want to talk politics, 90% of the crowd have no idea what you're talking about.
Well, I don't want to alienate half the crowd.
Yeah.
I don't want to. I don't want
And they
to
hear
turn
just
people
whatever
against me.
talking points are thrown out there. A lot of people, they hear headlines and they
They
talk
just
about
parrot,
and then
yeah.
they don't, because when you try to have a conversation with people like, do you know about this, and you try to dig deeper, they're like, what? And like if you're gonna be into that, you really, and I try to do it for myself. I try to listen to the other side. I may not agree, but why is it going on? Or if this is something that's going on, read into it more. Find different venues to find out that same story and get it, so you can get the best information and make your own decision.
Now, in your songwriting, Chris, Paul McCartney in many interviews has said that the Beatles, now you know the word, we nicked from a lot of bands. Now you know what that means?
Yeah.
They've taken a little, okay. They did it to us, we did it to them. Have you ever been inspired, like by hearing somebody's song and just been inspired to maybe do something along those lines?
Trying funny, yeah. Last song I was trying to work on, accidentally, I was listening to a Cars song, and then I was like, I want to try to write a Cars type song, because what we've been doing is more acoustic and this.
Right.
So I'm like, well, let's do something a little different with like a phase shifter into this. But when I started writing it, like nothing came. Although it's what I wanted to try to do, but I'm always listening to stuff, going, okay, that's interesting. This song holds this chord for a long time. Now, can I do something like that?
Exactly.
And do that.
And you actually learned. You actually learned from it too.
Yeah.
All comedy and all music is derivative. Like Jimi Hendrix, he's a pioneer, but he was based in blues.
Right.
And then he took it to another level. But comedy, we're all a product of the people who came before us, and that's how you learn, and then you find your own voice and everything. Same with music.
Like the first song that we did, I Should Be Drinking With You, is just a 3-chord blues. Like the first time I did it, on the recordings, I'm playing drums again. I played some acoustic in the back, but I'm playing drums on the recording. So, when we went up and I saw Paul doing these recordings, and I said, I really want to do something. What can we do? So to start off, I wanted to make a simple, so I didn't want it to be complicated.
Right.
I just wanted to feel what it was like to do it, get back into drumming again, and so we just kept it. But this 8,000 of those 3 chords, did so many variations of it. It's been going on since the 50s.
Now, do you have any big shows coming up?
We have nothing. No, we haven't done it. Eventually, we'll have to get back. We stopped playing. We were going to do Porch Fest we normally do this year, but they did it early. I thought it was good last year. They did it after Labor Day, and people are home from, this is like now, the next couple of weeks. It's the last couple of weeks. People want to get away with their families and do stuff. And I thought unfortunately, my boat's in a boatyard. We're getting some work done to it this summer. So, but my plan was we were going to be on that all weekends. And so, we decided not to do this Porch Fest. But I think eventually, we want to just get back. Mostly lately, I just want to hang out with the guys and just play again. I enjoy it most just sitting in a room and just being really loose about it.
So, Chris, basically, what you do, it's about fun. It's about
all
having
about
Well,
fun.
you know what? Music
Absolutely.
to me, when I play music, it's therapeutic. Like
Absolutely,
if
yeah.
I get down in the dumps, if I'm anxious, if I'm down, I'll pick up the guitar and it just makes me forget about stuff for a while.
We've
And
had
and it
more
takes-
fun, you and I, years ago.
We used to
would
sing in the car.
We used to sing in the car.
We smoked.
Yeah,
we'd
hello,
smoke a doobie first,
hello.
But we knew the words to every single Beatles song.
You
would-
thought you
yeah.
did.
Or
Every
we'd be in your living room, you'd bring out the guitar
Yeah.
and we'd play. And
That's what I like the most. Like when we sit on the boat and stuff in the
Yeah.
summertime, and we go around, and then you're not worried about making mistakes or doing anything, and it's very casual, and like say wherever it goes, it goes. Hey, let's play some Kenny Chesney. We're doing Crosby, Stills. Let's do this. It's just having
I
fun.
love
and playing.
Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young
Oh, yeah,
too. A
phenomenal.
Four-Way Street, one of my favorite albums.
Yeah.
Your
my God.
buddy Joey Canzano was on my little boat, and then he saw Chris's boat. He goes, "What the hell am I doing on your boat?" I was with Joey. We went around Cape Ann on my boat. When we got off, he's telling me we were 10 miles out. The waves were 15 feet. I said, Joey, we're about a quarter mile offshore, and I says the waves were about this high. I said, he made it sound like he was going around the Cape of Good Horn or something. Oh my God.
Yeah. No, that's wonderful.
Yeah, that's what he was talking. He thought he was on the next episode of Gilligan's Island. You should have seen- he's reaching for the life
Oh my
preserver.
God. He
It
was telling
fun.
everybody. You thought he was
told
at
every- yeah.
he escaped death.
He's like, you
out
ever
there."
been on that boat with him? He's crazy.
Well, I
That was
gotta
great.
I gotta tell you guys, this was one of the quickest hours that I mean, Billy.
That's
it
true.
just
It flew by.
it flew by.
This is an honor to me. With my
Well,
brother
I
here.
can't
This is-
thank
this
you
is
for
great.
No, thank you for being here because
I'm honored to be here.
it's
Thank you
nice
so
to
much,
just be
family.
able to talk and let us know. Like I said, I learned so much about you. Like I said, I knew you had a boat, but I didn't realize how accomplished you were as a fisherman.
What's
as a
the biggest
captain.
boat you've ever driven?
Well, our Uncle Ron had and I wasn't driving at the time, but the last couple years we were bringing a 92-footer up and down the coast of Florida, which was, normally we go to Florida, you run every day, like we'd leave here. Now with a faster boat, you go from here to like Atlantic City, you fuel up, you eat, you leave the next morning, you go from there to Norfolk, Virginia. From Virginia, you go into North Carolina. Well, my uncle's boat, because it's slower and it was big, we would just run day and night. So we would leave.
It
Cape
also had
Cod,
like two
fuel up.
20-something-year-old blonde girls
Yeah,
that were
very,
on the,
yeah,
on the
yeah,
on
nice,
the-
Hello.
yeah,
nice
they were on the
girl.
crew. Yeah,
No,
Hello.
they were nice girls, and
they were nice girls.
Captain Drew. But yeah, and we're lucky because it all depends on weather. Like I was lucky, I had the most beautiful sunsets, and at night there's nothing out. It's dark, so
Yeah.
we're just running at night, hoping you don't hit something in the middle of the night or anything like that. So
Like
you don't
an
really
iceberg.
sleep at night, So we would run all night, fuel up in the morning, run again all night, then take a day off. But it's fun when you. Like, I go with people like, well, where are we going to go? It's like you don't know because it could be rough here and we're going to make it. You have engine trouble. So our plan is to have 8 days we'd be in Florida. But, we can only make it this far one day and weather this and that. So every time you're pulling in somewhere new, and it's a lot of fun. I used to run my uncle's 70-footer up and down the coast.
It's
in
also a lot of
Bahamas.
responsibility because things could go wrong.
Well,
yeah, that's
you,
great.
you remind me of that guy when that commercial I don't always get what I want, but when I do, Dos Equis, what is it, Dos Equis?
Oh, it's a
Yeah.
Second-
Well,
No, but
world's
you-
most
and you're talking about
interesting
just to
man.
say
Yeah, the world's most. I'm just
Interesting
man.
I have just found you so interesting
Well, you-
because I didn't really know about your other passion and how amazing it is. I mean, when your brother, that's Paul, when he gave you this little intro, you know, I was like, oh my God, I don't know. But everything he said was incredible.
I've been very
and,
lucky. I've been
And I
lucky.
got to tell you, what a great, interesting life
And
you've
you can
had.
get his songs on iTunes, right?
iTunes,
What-
Spotify.
The three names of the songs.
Christopher J. Murphy.
Uh,
I Should
Goodbye
Be Drinking With
Tennessee. I
You.
should be drinking with you, and what's the other
I
one?
can't remember.
You can't remember. I'm trying to.
I can't even know. I gotta look. I can't remember. It's on there.
Yeah, it's on there.
Isn't that funny? Listen, guys, we're gonna take it. We're gonna wrap it up right now. We love you. We appreciate you coming and joining us here tonight. If you're enjoying our content, please subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook. If you have something to say, don't be afraid to comment. We love looking at them all, and we'll respond to them. So do that. Please do that. Next week, we're going to have a whole bunch of different stuff going on. We try to keep everything different all the time. We have different guests. As if you look on YouTube, there's at least, I want to say at least 70 videos up that you can see the different shows. Last week we had Cheryl Fandaka. The week before that we had the Boston Dad. The week before that we had Nick Verano, and we had Charlie Moore. I mean, the list. We got some great guests. One of the, I think, my personal opinion is we have the best podcast in New England at this point, possibly the country. So please subscribe. We enjoy doing this for you guys to entertain you every week. God bless you. We will see you next time, next Monday night. God bless. See you next time. Straight Up Talk Boston. We love you.
Come to the land of the ice.